conference will now be recorded.
I hope my screen is visible. Can somebody please confirm?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
visible.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. So welcome to the demo session for Azure Data Engineering. Okay. Myself Subrat. I am working into this IT industry for last 15 years, and I'm into data engineering for almost last 8 years. Okay. I started my career as a .NET developer. So primarily back and front end development, I have spent around 7 years. And then I started getting interest into data, and I moved to data. I learned the nitty-gritty of data engineering. Started with Hive, Spark, and all, and then spent some time on premises. Then moved to cloud. Okay, I have quite good amount of exposure to all facets of data engineering, be it your batch processing, be it your streaming processing. Okay, then apart from core data engineering, helping other stakeholders such as machine learning engineer, BI engineers, right, the front end people to provide them the required data. So and then uh, establishing end-to-end software life cycle, which involves CI/CD pipeline, right, make designing data quality framework and all that. So I have quite hands-on on this technical aspect. I'm teaching data engineering for quite some time now. I have trained people offline and inside the company as well, people who tries to make a career shift. So yeah, so with that, the agenda for today's session is my past experience says that people from different background enroll for the courses. There are people who do not have any exposure to data engineering. They might be coming from an application development background, and they want to explore the data world. There are people who are working in data engineering but might be on premises. They want to explore the cloud part. There are people who are into, let's say, AWS, and they want to go to Azure. People might be coming from non-IT background, and they want to get into the IT background, and they start with the data. So there are a variety of peoples who comes as a participant for this courses. So I have designed the session, I have designed today's class accordingly. So my idea is to give you an understanding of what exactly a data engineer role looks like. How does a day-to-day role looks like for a data engineer. So if you happen to work as a data engineer, what exactly you will do, how the project that moves around data engineering, how their basics, I mean, company wise, product wise, definitely there will be variation, but a skeleton is more or less the same, right? So we'll discuss about that. Then we'll understand how the Azure data engineering tech stack fits into that. Okay, and we will be mostly covering about around batch. So we'll be talking about those technical aspects of data engineering which is relevant for batch data processing. Okay, then we'll discuss how our course contained a design. Okay, what are the topics that we are going to cover, how much time we are going to spend. Okay, and then we will after that I will the stage is open for you, because I understand that you might be coming up with a lot of questions. So I will take your questions and try to answer as much as possible. Okay, hope that is fine. So with that, let's understand a little bit. There are certain things that I will cover which might be familiar for you. So please have patience. There might be people who, for them, it might be new. So the idea is to cover as much people as possible. Okay. So when we talk about data, right, the job role around data are primarily of these kinds, right? The data scientist, data architect, data analyst, BI analyst, data engineer, AI engineer, machine learning engineer, NLP, neural network processing, those engineers, then business analyst, statistician, and many more, right? Now everybody at the end of the day, all this engineering job or all these job roles needs data, right? We have data available in various formats, right? But the raw data which is available, that might not be useful for all this row to do further exploration. Let's take an example. So there is a European community for this contagious disease and control, that is called ECDC. Okay, ECDC. Okay, so here they capture the COVID data for, let's say, Europe. Okay, these are the data they have available. They have data available for in for multiple stuffs. For example, what is the patient admission in hospital and ICU. Okay, what are the different cases and deaths, right? What kind of testings are happening, what is the number of testings happening. These are the data available for COVID. Okay, similarly, you have multiple data available for different kinds of sports. For example, Formula One. Formula One is a very popular sports. You have data available for Formula One as well, right? So what are different teams, right? What are different drivers participating? What is their results and all this information? Now, these are the raw data that is available to you, right? And then there are people who are interested to find insights around it. So if I'm talking about the COVID data, right? So let's say the first wave passed by, we have information, and then we want to analyze the data. And if God forbid, if the similar situation happens in future, we need to have the data to predict certain trends and take necessary action, right? Also, for the existing data, we need to understand how the data is spread, or what kind of report does it make, so that we can get some insights out of it, right? So for that, this business analyst, statistician, machine learning engineer, all these people have a role. But they cannot do their model, their work on the raw data that is available to them, right? And here, at least the data in some proper format, but you cannot expect always the data to be in this proper format. The data might be in a text file, right? The data is not that arranged, right? So they cannot apply their models, their all their technicalities on those raw data. So they need data which is processed, right? Which is available in some format, which has a particular schema, right? Which is clean, right? They try to avoid as much as invalid data as possible, right? And so all these things, to provide the required data, correct data, right? Trustworthy data, and the data in the required format. That's where a data engineer comes into picture. Okay, so a data engineer job is to understand the business requirement, what exactly the business is looking for, what exactly the stakeholders looking for, where exactly my data lies, right? And then understand the data, making the change in the data so that the data is available in a required format. And then going forward, other stakeholders will will do their task. Now, in between, there might be cases that sometimes your role is not, I mean, the requirement is not properly defined. So let's say you designed a particular system let's say, which is able to solve, let's say, 5 challenges, but later on you decide that our challenges are evolving, we need some more data. So at that point of time, a data engineer has to decide that whether my data pipe, or the data product that I have developed, whether it needs to be expanded, or we can change over here, we can completely rewrite the system. All those things a data engineer has to consider, right? So basically, making the data available in a required format, right? And making it from where? From the raw data, the rawest possible data, right? So from that, to make the data available in this format, and making sure that whenever I'm providing this data, this is consistent. I mean, data is available as and when needed. Data is reliable and trustworthy. Okay, and then there is no security lapse, right? My data is only accessible within the people who has access to. Anybody outside the organization is not accessing this data. I'm not talking about any publicly available data. I mean, these data are publicly accessible, which is fine. But when you go and work in an industry, security is a major concern, right? You cannot expect people outside your organization. In fact, within your organization, so there are certain boundaries, right? People from other teams should not have access to this data. Okay? So all these things are taken care by a data engineer. Okay. Now let's say, imagine a particular situation. So a very famous example that everybody will give is an e-commerce website. right? In an e-commerce website, what happened? You people, I mean, there are a lot of customers, they log in, right? They make transactions, they purchase a product, right? There is refund happening, right? There is inventory, there are stocks that are coming into their inventories, right? And then end of the day, all this data needs to be processed, and then there are people sitting at the other end who analyze this data. Now what kind of analysis they do? They see that what, I mean, how the business have been over the past festival season. Okay, in a non-festival season, what is the product that is selling more? In a festival season, which area is particular, which geographical region is making me more revenue, which geographical region is making me less revenue, what could be the potential reason, how can we improve that one? So all this information they need, right? And simply the way the data is available, so today nowadays, I mean, everything is on cloud, right? But just imagine if just somebody is coming and just making an entry, he might be doing some window shopping, just going out of without purchasing anything. So all this information that you are tracking, there are a hell lot of information. And if I just, these end users, the business user, if I just give them the access to this raw data, right, it is of no use for them, right? They will be confused, right? So here, and on top of it also, there are machine learning engineers, right? So for example, a user comes in, a user has a certain purchasing behavior, you want to recommend him something for that. So for that, what is that you need? You need all the past behavior of that particular user. You need to understand similar users when they buy product, is there anything that they have purchased, right? Then you need to identify which machine learning algorithm I need to apply based on the data available to me, right? So that is where a data engineer comes into picture. So this is how a typical data flow looks like. Okay, so here I'm trying to show you an architecture which is very popularly known as medallion architecture, because there are these stages, and every stage has a name based on the medal, right? A bronze layer, a silver layer, a gold layer. Okay, so what exactly is this? Let's understand one by one. So assume that let's take any industry, be it an e-commerce, be it a banking website, anything. Okay. So let's take we are working for a banking industry, and I'm working for the credit card system, and there are multiple business users sitting, and they need a report on a daily basis or on a monthly basis that when we launch a product, what is the acceptability of my product, how many users are using it, what is the age group in which the user are using it, what volume of transaction it is happening, all this information they need. Now for that, I have the raw data available in some location, right? So I mean, the bank does not I mean, they are getting credit card information, debit card information, regular transaction information, I mean, daily day-to-day transaction which is happening. So everything is getting stored in a particular place, right? I as a data engineer of a credit card team, I only need the information that is relevant to my credit card information, right? So basically what we do, whatever raw data available to me, okay, I put it inside my bronze layer, right? Without making any change. This is a typical behavior. It could change org to org. Few people, what they do is they do some filtering and they do it. Otherwise, they take the data as possible as it is, right? The idea is tomorrow if there is some error is happening, I can go back to the original raw format and compare where exactly it happens. So that's the idea. Okay, so I take the data in its current form in my bronze layer. Okay. So when I'm saying bronze layer, what exactly it is? So when you see these kinds of this kinds of picture, what exactly it is? What do you think? Can somebody answer? So I have my data available in some file format, and I'm putting it inside a bronze layer. So when I'm saying this bronze layer, what it could be? Can you imagine something? Or from your past experience, from your current experience, can you tell me what exactly this different layers would be?
Extract, load, and transformation.
That's the process. That's a process. ELT or ETL is a process. But I'm talking about this different stage, these different layers. What are they?
So the bronze layer can be treated as a staging area where we just directly copy
Uh,
the raw data and park there
okay,
for
we are
further
going little
processing
technical.
without
We are going
interrupting
little
the
technical.
original.
Correct. We are talking about little technical. I'm talking about from very layman perspective. From very layman
It
perspective, can you tell
describes
me what
the
exactly
it describes the quality
this?
of data.
Okay, so again we are a little technical when I'm
Storage.
saying bronze. Exactly, that's what the term is. It's a storage. It's a storage. I mean, think about your C drive, your D drive. That's a storage where you hold some file, right? When you are talking about the bronze layer or the silver layer, whatever layer, we are talking about storage only. Okay, this storage could be a plain file storage, can be a SQL database, could be anything, can be a a queue, can be a topic, it could be anything, something which can hold the data, right? That's what our bronze layer is. Okay, so first of all we need to get the data and then put it inside our bronze layer, right? Then what we do is again we take the data and push it into silver layer. Now what happens between this bronze layer and silver layer? Again, what I am telling is a very generic thing. This could happen, this could vary based on org to org or project to project. Basically what we do is we extract only the data that is needed for us. For example, in my bronze layer I have both credit card information and then there are credit card which are expired also, right? So for my reporting or for my data, or there might be credit card which the company is no more supporting. The company used to launch a lot of products, like a lot of cards and all, and at a certain point they do not support a card, this launch a new card, something like that, right? So I might not be interested in those particular information. If there is some historical data, some information is available, I don't want those information. Could be the case that there might be some dummy entries also. It might not be all real I mean not all entries could be valid, right? So what I usually do is, what usually from a bronze layer to silver layer happens is, we usually try to get only those data which is needed for my business. Okay, so maybe I'll apply some filter over there. I'll make sure that all the invalid data are discarded, right? Only the data that is needed are available in here, right? So mostly the structure of the data present here and here are same. They could vary to some extent, but the idea in the silver layer is we only need the data that we need for our business, for our process, right? Now once this data is available, for example, here you have the credit card, the username, their transaction, date of birth, all these things is available. Now what we do is we apply some business logic and try to make our data available in the required format. So what exactly is the required format? For example, I have multiple customers, okay? And what I need is I need to analyze my customer behavior, okay? So for that, I have data, only the transactional data available. So for example, let's open an Excel sheet and try to see what kind of data available and what exactly I'll do. Maybe I might have all transactional information available. What could I do is street, state, and whatnot. Okay, and then his limit. Okay, and then what kind of customer type. Let's say if it's a loyal customer, new customer, or what if. Okay, then the issue date. Okay, so these are different information I'm coming at, right? So I want to understand the customer behavior, right? So what I will do is from here I'll just try to extract the customer data. Okay, I'll try to extract the customer data. I'll just try to prepare a table or something, a sheet which only talks about the customer. Let's say the name, okay, the age, okay, and then the gender, okay, and then let's say their address, okay, and then let's say their email or whatever I have, okay. Then what I'll do, I will only extract the transactional information. Okay, I'll not bring everything in one place, right? I'll just bring the transactional information. So for example, let's say date on which the transaction happened, what is the amount that the transaction happened, who is the customer for which the transaction happened, and let's say the card information. Let's say people are interested every date, I need the max and minimum transaction, which is directly not available. But let's say I have to derive few column, I have to do some mean transaction, what is the minimum transaction happening, okay, and what is the maximum transaction happening. Okay, they also want at a customer level what is the for every month, what is the so for a customer in a given year, what is the mean and max transactions. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we lost your sharing. We lost.
is it,
We can't see
is
you.
my screen not visible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Am I audible at least?
Yes, you are audible, but the screen is not
Okay,
visible.
screen is not visible. Okay, let me try resharing. Till what point it was visible?
By opening the the Excel.
Okay, when okay, right after I opened the Excel, it was lost. Okay, fine, fine. Let me repeat that. Now, what about now? Is it still not visible?
Yep, able to
We
see.
It
can
is
see.
visible.
Okay. So what I was explaining is, let's assume that I am getting the raw data. Okay. It cannot be a CSV file. Let's say it's some XML, some JSON, or some text file where we are getting this information. Okay. All this information is present in one file. And let's say I have a requirement where I want to analyze the customer behavior. Okay. Customer behavior, let's say age wise, multiple demographic, what kind of spending behavior that they have, for different geographical location, what kind of spending behavior that have. And if some customer has provided their company address, if I can get a company apart from a regular Gmail or Yahoo, if somebody has provided their company address, maybe I can target that customer. If I have a lot of customers for that company, maybe I can release some offer. So all this information that I need. So for that, what I do is, from this I try to create multiple sub information. Let's say I try to create a customer information. Okay, I try to create a transaction information. Again, there might be data which is not directly available, but I have to do some calculation. I was giving an example, right? For example, for a given customer on a given year, I wanted to understand what is his minimum transaction, what is his maximum transaction. Okay, which particular month he did the maximum transaction. So that's something, or let's say minimum spending. Okay, and let's say max spending. Okay, so these are different derived field that I have to come up with, right? These are the calculation that I have to do. Okay, so based upon my requirement, and then somebody might be interested not only at customer level. For example, they wanted to understand that what kind of product this customer is purchasing, so they might be having a product catalog also, right? What kind of product these customers are primarily purchasing. Okay, so are they purchasing more of clothes and accessories? Are they purchasing flights tickets? Are they purchasing movie halls, sorry, cinema tickets and all, right? So those kinds of product information also I'm interested to keep in, so it might be available in my data. So my idea is, so if there is a lot of selling happening across a particular product, why don't I start selling that product on my site, right? So that I can directly get the benefit. So these are my requirement, which is not directly available in my raw data, right? So as a as the next process, from moving my data from the bronze layer to the gold layer, I will try to get all the, I will try to bring this required information in form of tabular format or whatever it is from this raw data, right? That's what happened from this to this stage, from silver layer to gold layer. Assuming that we need the data in form of a table. Okay, so we might come up with multiple tables from this, right? And then there might be multiple stakeholders who are interested in it, right? Some people might be prepare some Power BI report, some people will prepare some dashboard on top of it. There are machine learning engineer who will consume the data and they apply models, their machine learning models. There might be some AI engineers who are not interested at this stage, they might be interested in the silver layer and they want to prepare some LLM out of it. So at every stage, based upon who are your stakeholder, you have to prepare data for them. So a data engineer is responsible to provide the data for their product at each and every requirement. You might have, for the same product, you might have to create a separate set of table which a business user, for example, your product owner or your business analyst will use as a report. You might have to provide data which a machine learning engineer will use to analyze the data and prepare the model. You might be providing the data for an AI engineer for him to develop an LLM. Okay, so there can be multiple requirement for the same data, which the job of a data engineer is to provide them. And as I explained, the basic requirement, the basic things that is expected is what? Your data should be highly reliable. Okay, it should be secured, it should be available. What is available? You say that you have prepared everything, but also all of a sudden nothing is running, right? Your business user comes in, he wants to see the report, but the data is not available, right? So you cannot see that report. So it should be always available, right? The data should be available, because otherwise if the data is not available, there is no point in spending this much, right? So all these things are taken care by a data engineer. Okay, so I hope you have a fair idea what exactly a data engineer pitches in. Okay, what is the role of a data engineer? Before I move into the next session, that I mean, what are the different components and where exactly an Azure data engineer fits into? I wanted to understand that if everybody has a clarity on what exactly a data engineer does on a day-to-day basis. If not, please let me know. So is it clear to everyone what exactly data engineer role looks like? I mean, I know that technically you might not be try to map at every this individual stage where exactly what I have to do here will go next, but at least on a surface level, people who are already working to data, for them it might not that be that difficult, but people who are new to it, at least you know how your role looks like and what is the importance of your role, right? If there is no question, then let me move and let's understand what are the different components involved here in this particular process, in this entire diagram. What are different components involved? Can somebody tell me what are the different first thing that we cover is a storage, right? So that is something we understood, that we need to store the data. Storage is one component. Okay, what else? What else could be? What other components are involved in this structure?
Security.
Okay, fine. Anything else? See, I just don't need to store the data, right? I need to process the data. I need to apply, I need to filter the data, right? So the data needs to be filtered. The data needs to be processed. Okay. The data needs to be massaged. Massage means data needs to be changed, or, that lot of processing has to happen on the data. Agreed? This is also one component, the data processing. What else? Any idea, guys? Okay, now see, this is where the data available, the data moves from this to this, the data moves from this to this. Now the data is available, and this is a continuous
Transformation.
process. Transformation is part of this part, no? Let me write it. The data processing, data transformation from one stage to other. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Transformation of data, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else you like to put? See here, the data from one stage is moving to this stage, again this, and then the data is available to use. Now imagine this is a daily job or a weekly job or could be a monthly job, right? Most of the cases you are either doing a daily or a weekly job. I mean, weekly, all these things have to happen. Now, do you think that somebody will every day will go and manually run this one, transfer the data from this to this to this? Will somebody do it manually? There must be some automation, right? Where all these things, once I write it, put my code, an automated process has to be there who is doing it, right? What we call is an orchestration to automate the entire process. And what do you call this? Is a pipeline only, right? This is a pipeline. If you see, like a pipeline, water flows from one point to other. So here is a data pipeline where data is flowing from one point to other. So we need a orchestration for it. This orchestration is responsible for running this job on a day-to-day basis, making sure that it is able to handle the failure. If there is a failure happens, it should be raise an alert or a trigger, all these things, right? I'm not going into the reporting part of it. Okay, reporting mostly taken care by there are other BI guys for it, so they mostly, so I'm not covering the reporting part, right? These are the things, these are the components, right, of this entire stuff. Anything else that you are thinking, or any particular component which are not clear, you cannot see where exactly it fits in?
Can you hear me, Subrat?
Yes, I can.
So can you please explain me about orchestration?
Okay, see, your data is available here. Now imagine somebody who is analyzing the report of, let's say, Flipkart e-commerce website. Do you really think that once in a blue moon or once in a year they are only analyzing it? They are analyzing it on a daily basis, right? So that they can enhance the business, they can come up with new ideas. Somebody who is analyzing the credit card data, he might not be doing it once in 2 years or once in 3 years. He might be doing it on a weekly basis, trying to understand how his business is behaving over the period of time when they implemented a new strategy, how the business is behaving. So they need data frequently, periodically, either on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Correct? Is that correct?
Yes,
Hello?
yes,
Right?
yes.
So for that, and you also agree that the data is changing, we are getting new data, the data might be deleted, the data might be updated, the data is changing on a daily basis. Agree to that?
Yes.
So for that, this entire process, from one stage to other, in between there is some transformation data processing, then from this stage to other there is some transformation data processing, then data is getting stored here. So all this process has to happen on a regular basis. All this process, data from one process to other, in between transformation, then from one stage to other, in between transformation, these process has to happen on a daily basis. Correct?
Yes.
There must be periodic interval in which the process should be happening. That's where an orchestrator, so who will do it? I mean today in the world of automation, are we supposed to do it manually, going everywhere and connecting this dot to this dot? There must be somebody who is taking care of this job in an automated way, right? I just need to tell them that, boss, this is my data, from here to here the data has to be moved, this is the logic that needs to be passed, and you need to run this entire step every day, let's say midnight, 12 o'clock. Okay, so that once the person logs in, he should have a fresh report available. So this automated process, the guy who will do, the tool that will do the automated process, that is what our orchestration is. Okay,
Okay, okay,
so
got it. Thank
all the,
you.
yeah, all this entire end-to-end stuff who does that part is called the orchestration part. Yes, somebody was asking something. Hello.
Yeah, what is the data visualization here?
Data visualization is when you prepare report on top of it, right? You prepare some dashboard, right? So once your data is available, then you prepare some dashboard. So for example, I want to see a pie chart of my region wise my sale. Okay, so for example, Flipkart wants to see across different metros what kind of sale I had in the last big billion days. They want to see it in form of some chart or some numbers, right? Those are the visualization part, those reports that we prepare. The reports will be prepared out of this data only, right? So these are the visualization part I was talking. These are the visualization part. Clear? You might not be exactly a Power BI. Some front end also. I mean, they might have developed some web portal which is consuming the data and preparing this. Right? There are multiple tools. Can be a Power BI, can be a Tableau, can be a Quick View, can be Amazon Quick Insight, can be something else. Okay, so these are the visualization part. Clear? Hello. Somebody asked about
Yep,
visualization. Is it clear?
yep,
Okay.
yep. Yes,
Right.
good.
So these are the different components that involved in our data flow, right? Now let's understand what Azure provides in order to do this one. Okay, so for storage, okay, security is something which is applicable to each and every step. So let me put it at top. You need the security at storage, you need the security for processing, you need the security for orchestration, everything, right? So let me put it at top. Okay. I will discuss it later. First, let's about storage. So storage could be multiple things, right? You might need an intermediary storage. What do you mean by intermediary storage? So in this case, the end user, the report that he is preparing from this part, this table. Okay, he is preparing Power BI report. He needs the data to be present in a tabular format, in some SQL table or in some data warehouse, right? Doesn't mean that at every point I will put this one. I might be getting my data in terms of some file, some JSON file, text file and all. So I do not put everything inside a table, right? I need some file system also, right? Some file system. So for that, Azure provides something called ADLS, Azure Data Lake Storage. And when I say intermediary storage, it is not always intermediary storage. It can be a final storage also. Okay, there could be somebody might directly consuming from ADLS also. That is also possible. But imagine at this place, okay, this data as I'm storing, nobody is directly consuming it from here, right? So here I do not need to put it in form of some table or some relational database. I can just use some file system and put the data, right? So here I will use ADLS. And whenever I need my data in a relational format, when I say relational format in form of some table, in form of data warehouse, I have what? Azure SQL DB. I have what? Synapse is my data warehouse. Okay. I have what? I have NoSQL DB, okay, like Cosmos DBs and all. I have Event Hub, okay, which is nothing but your topic, right? These are the different storage that Azure provides. Okay, Event Hub, they are primarily for streaming application, not for batch application. Okay, so Azure provides all this. Let's just have a quick tour of Azure portal and see how basically they look like. So here is an Azure portal, okay, and here is a storage. So for example, go to storage, okay, and you can see that this is a storage that I have prepared. Excuse me. So here I can you know I have created folders and uploaded files into it. Okay, so my file can store in this cloud storage, right? So basically, with the advent of cloud, you don't need to provision machine and store the data. Cloud will provide you everything, right? So that's what the storage part is. You can create a SQL database table also, right? This is a SQL Server Management Studio. So you can create a SQL table and open it over here and see it, right? This could be anything, right? That's what our storage part is all about. What about processing? Okay. Now for processing, usually see data process is not that data processing is happening. Data processing is something new. It is happening since the advent of this digital world or the technology, right? Data was there, data is there, and data will be there. Data processing is there forever. But the thing is that with huge volume of data today we have, and we need the response very fast. I cannot wait for 3 days for my report to available. If my data is coming today, by next day morning, all my processing should happen, and the volume is large, right? So in order to process large processing framework, initially, you have this Informatica or Teradata and all that, right? But they had certain limitations. So what we come up with? We come up with distributed computing system. Okay. And if you are confusing with this term, so let me bring a more familiar term called Hadoop. Hadoop comes into picture, right? Where you have HDFS, yarn map reduce. Now, over the period of time, Hadoop also has certain limitations. So they come up with other framework, and the very popular framework that is being used is Spark. Spark is one of the most popular framework. Okay. So processing all your data. If you see over here, all the lot of time you will spend in processing the data, making the data available in your required format, right? You spend lot of time over there. So for processing these huge amount of data, you need a very robust processing engine, right? And that's why Spark comes into picture. Spark basically is an open source framework, right? But what happened is when you use the Spark vanilla version, there are a lot of configuration that you have to do. I mean, you have to create a cluster, you have to make sure that everything is running fine and all that. So don't bother if you're not understanding what is a cluster and Spark. We'll cover them in detail, but just understand the Spark is a processing engine. Now what happened was, there is the people who has developed Spark, right? So what they do is they donate the Spark to the Apache Foundation, and they come up with a product called Databricks. Okay, Databricks is primarily nothing but Spark on cloud. Okay, let me show you a community edition what it looks like. Okay. So yeah, this is a community edition. This is a free edition. I mean, we for our learning we'll use for some time community edition, then we'll move to a pre-standard edition where we'll configure from Azure. So what they do, you don't have to take care of installing a machine and everything. Spark will do, I mean, you just provision a machine, create a compute. Okay, Spark will launch Databricks will launch a machine for you. You only bother about writing your code. Okay, for your processing engine, write a code. Before Databricks, what used to happen, so I mean, along with writing your code, so for example, I have to do certain operations, right? So I have to write some code, but where my code will run, my code will run some machine, right? In order to run the code, I need some memory, some CPU, all this capacity, so I need to provision the machine. And then there are certain softwares that need to be installed on the machine. So all these things, either you or some admin people has to take care of it. What Databricks do is, Databricks tell, I will take care of the resourcing part, you just focus on your business logic, right? So that's what Databricks is. Databricks is nothing but Spark on cloud, and Databricks is available with all major cloud provider. So be it Azure, be it AWS, be it your GCP, for everything Databricks is available. So all the processing, major processing components happen in Azure Databricks. Okay, next come orchestration. Who will create this pipeline, move from one step to other, call these different notebooks and all that? That's where your Azure Data Factory comes into picture. Okay, let me show you how exactly this looks like. Okay, so Azure Data Factory provides you lot of flexibility to create this pipeline, to create this automation tool which runs from a place from when it moves your data from one step to other. You can apply some logic here. So basically, you know what, the data processing is not, Data Factory is not only for orchestration. Data Factory in some instances do some of your transformation work also. Not major transformation, but few of the transformation what data factory can also do. So for example, you create a pipeline. Okay, I have very so let's say you want to copy the data, right? So you just drag drop, do everything. You just schedule it. Let's say I want to run my pipeline on every day 10 o'clock. Okay, so just create a trigger, come here. Okay, just create a trigger over here. For example, trigger schedule every day at 10, you want to run it. Okay, make it a schedule trigger starting from this one, and let's say every day I want to run it at 10 a.m. Okay, so once I click it, this particular pipeline will run. I'm canceling it. This is just, I mean, we will see it in details, but for the time being, let me just cancel it. Every day, this particular activity will run at 10 a.m. So you just have to give instruction in this portal. Okay. And then over here, you can see that all your pipelines are running, right? That's what Data Factory, the feasibility Data Factory will provide. Not only that, if a pipeline is failing, you want to send a mail, right? You want to send a message, you want to monitor a pipeline, everything can be happened over here. Okay, so here you can this is my learning center, I'm in sorry, alert and metrics, right? You can create your alert over here. Okay, you want to monitor your pipeline, everything you can do here. That's what Data Factory comes into picture. Okay, so this is what different components of Azure Data Engineering that fits into the pipeline. Now let me talk about what is that we are going to cover, how our course structure will look like. And mostly the project which is involved in Azure Data Engineering, they use all these stuffs. Okay, what we'll cover. So you, so far you have understand that there are processing and happening, you have to write some code, right? And basically the code are written in SQL, Python or Scala. These are the language. SQL is a typical query language, whereas Python and Scala are mostly scripting and compiled language, right? So as we are mostly talking about PySpark, so we are not concerned focused on SQL primarily. We'll be sorry, Scala. We are mostly will be mostly focused on SQL and Python. But as this course is talked about the data engineering part and not about any programming language, so we cannot cover them in detail. We just do a refresher on SQL and Python. So I will take around 5 to 6 classes, and based upon the class demand. So if people says that we are comfortable in SQL and Python, I will not do this class. I'll focus more on the other part. But if people says that no, we need a fresher on SQL and Python, I'll spend first 5 or 6 classes on SQL and Python. So I'll cover the required topics. I give an overview of this all these things that is required for SQL and Python. Right. Again, as I said, that based upon the requirement of that particular batch. There is one batch where they say that we are good with SQL, we don't need SQL, we just need some bit of Python. So I just take few classes on Python and directly switch into Spark. Okay. Once that is done, we'll understand what is Spark. Okay. What is the architecture of Spark? Okay. How basically Spark works, where exactly Spark comes into picture, right? Okay. Then there are different APIs, right? And then we'll understand where is Databricks fitting into the bill, right? We'll create an account in Databricks, okay, community edition account in Databricks, okay. Then we'll try to explore different programming that can happen when we're talking about transforming the data or processing the data. So what all different processing that we can do with Spark and Databricks, all those things we'll cover. How to read a file, how to process it, how to create a table out of that, how to store it, everything we'll cover in detail. Okay, this is where we'll spend maximum time. Around 50% of the time will be spent here, because when you go for an interview, right, as a data engineer, and if it is Databricks, they will spend lot of time in Spark, right? And if you happen to give an interview in Databricks, because nowadays Databricks is also hiring, so they will not cover anything. They will simply focus 90% of their interview questions will on Spark. Okay, be it is true for any company, right? If it is not a product, if it is a core product based company, they will grill more you on Spark and SQL. If it is a consulting, they will cover from all the topics, but 50% of the focus would be on Spark, right? So we will majority of our course will focus on Spark. Doesn't mean that we are not covering everything, but I want to cover Spark in details, right? Then we will do a small project, mini project over here. Once the our theory is over, we'll do an end-to-end project. And when we're talking about theory, everything is hands-on, right? Everything is hands-on. Every day once the class is over, all the required file would be shared to you so that you can refer them. We'll do an end-to-end mini projects, I mean complete medallion architecture using Databricks and Spark. That's all we'll do. Okay, during this project, I will introduce you to data warehouse. Okay, in this data warehouse, we'll cover Synapse, dedicated SQL pool. Okay, how to use this one, how to store the data over here. That's what we'll cover. And then we will move to ADF. ADF means Azure Data Factory. We'll cover what are different components of Azure Data Factory, how to orchestrate Azure Data Factory, how to trigger pipeline and all that. And here also we'll do another project. Here we'll do our second project. Complete end-to-end flow, starting from moving the data from a storage to the data to data warehouse, involving Databricks, everything. We'll do a complete end-to-end project in ADF. This project will not use ADF, will completely do in Databricks. This project will use all Databricks, Data Factory, data warehouse, everything we'll use in this project. Okay. Once this is covered, I take based on the requirement, I take one class on interview preparation. We'll cover different questions that might ask from different topic, and then resume building. Okay. How to prepare a resume, right? So this is going to be your course. This one is 40 days. We'll try to do these things in 40 days. If not, we'll take few more classes, and not necessarily every classes would be 1 hour. So I am based upon people availability. I try to take class on one Saturday on a weekend and make it a little longer so that we can cover in 42 classes. But it is not 40-hour class. It's much more than 40-hour class, because all these things cannot be covered in 40 hours, right? We need some more time. So that's what we'll try to do this. That's what our course structure and everything will look like. Okay, I hope I was able to explain you how this particular course would be, and if you happen to enroll, what is that you will learn. Okay, but if you still have any questions, the forum is open to you. Don't hesitate and please ask as many questions as you can.
So what you
Hi,
said,
Subrat.
you are going to take from Monday to Friday or is Saturday as well initially?
I am okay with anything. We can do Monday to Friday or Saturday. I think let's talk. For that, you can reach out to the visual path team. Okay, no?
Yeah. Hi, Subrat. I have a
Hi.
question. So, what are
Sure.
all the certifications required in order
Ah,
to
very good.
become a
Sorry.
data?
Yeah, sorry. Good part I missed. Sorry. Certification. Thanks, Durga. I missed this part. There are two certifications that I will recommend. One is DP203, which is Azure Data Engineering. This is must. Okay. And this course will cover 70% of the topic, but the streaming part this course will not cover. But what I will do is I will provide you a resource, an Udemy course. This course will provide you the practice set, and I can assure that if you cover all those practice set, you can definitely clear the exam. Okay, so this particular course is designed for batch processing, so the streaming part will not cover, but most 70% of the DP203 course will cover in this course. Okay, another exam, this is optional. If you want, you can do it. Databricks certification exam. Okay, Databricks has multiple certification. One for Spark developer, one for data engineer. Okay, and there is one for this one machine learning and all, so let me not cover that one. Okay, the spark that I will cover, the spark part that I will cover, it covers all the courses which is needed for Databricks certified Spark developer. Everything which is needed for Databricks certified Spark developer, I will cover everything. Okay, so if you give these two certification, no, I mean your chances of getting a recruiter's attention increases. So these are the primary two certifications that I will advise. On top of it, if you want, you can go for an Azure solution architect and all, but they are mostly for a solution architect point of view, not from data engineer point of view. So these are the two
Yeah.
certificates, and this is a must, DP203.
Associate level, right?
Are there any prerequisites? Are there any prerequisites to do the certifications?
No prerequisite. You can just register,
No, no, no.
pay the fee.
Okay,
Huh?
okay. Okay.
No
And
prerequisition, nothing.
how much is the validity of the certifications? Like,
Validity is 1 year, and after 1 year, you have to just give a free assessment to renew your exam. For the first certification, you have to pay. Subsequent renewal is free of cost.
okay, okay.
Okay. The renewal is very easy. Don't worry. Before 6 months only, they send you notification. Okay. And for renewal, you have multiple attempts. Okay. So for example, while renewing, if you just failed in one attempt, you can give multiple attempt, but you can pass it in one attempt only. And for DP203, I mean to pass certification, the Udemy course that I suggest, just go through this course, practice all those question papers, and you can easily pass DP203 with 80, 70, 80% around.
Which is more valuable, Databricks certification or DP203 associate level?
See, from my experience, people usually look for, because DP203 covers Spark and Databricks also to some extent. In Azure Data Engineering, Databricks also cover. Databricks certification is very focused on Spark. DP203 covers all these different storage, security, and all these things. Security, Databricks, data warehouse, everything DP203 cover. So that's why DP203 is must have. Databricks certification is a good to have.
So Databricks, is it belongs to Microsoft or a different
No.
organization?
Databricks is a different company altogether. So I was telling, no. So people who has invented Spark, so what they do is they created this company Databricks. So Databricks
Okay.
is, Databricks has multiple free Azure Databricks, AWS Databricks, GCP Databricks like that. So
So
basically, when you
are
go
you
for
going?
Azure Data, uh
Yeah, go ahead,
yes.
Subrat. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So when you go for Azure Databricks, so the machines and everything that will be created are Azure virtual machine. When you go for AWS Databricks, the machine and the cluster that will be created are AWS machine, and similarly for GCP. That's the difference. But the once you are a Azure Databricks developer, doesn't mean that you cannot work on AWS machine. The code, everything will remain same. Only thing is the underlying machines that will be provisioned for you is Azure machine or AWS machine or GCP machine, but the code remains the same. The way you write your code in Azure Databricks is same, 100% same what you write in AWS Databricks or GCP Databricks. Getting my point, no?
Yes, yes. So, are you going to provide us the frequently asked questions for the certification exam?
Huh. Huh. Yes.
Okay. And is it I mean, the class, is it going to be 1 hour every day, or what is the duration and
So see,
timing?
the browser said that it is a 40 classes, 1 hour, right? That's what the plan is, 5 days a week, and 40 classes would be happen. So it is like 40 classes, 5 days a week, 1 hour per day. That's what the template is, but it is not
How
going to
about
happen. I'm sorry.
timings?
Timings. So mostly this is going to the timing. 8 to 9 is going to be the timing. That's what I think. Okay, but
IST?
we can.
Or,
Sorry.
I mean, which time zone?
Indian time zone, IST.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So I'm not sure how you people are comfortable with from which part you have joined. So all these things has to be. I mean, we should discuss with visual path and coordinate. But what I am thinking is this is 8 to 9 IST.
8 to 9 p.m. IST
8
or
to 9 p.m.
AM?
IST. PM IST.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, that's what
Uh,
I think. Okay, that's what I think. I might be wrong. Visual Path team has to confirm it. So at present, this is what my understanding is. Yeah, someone
Okay,
was
okay.
asking
uh,
something.
One more question. Are we going to cover PySpark? If yes, what's the
PySpark.
which one is most useful, Spark or PySpark?
See, that's a wrong question. I will say why. Okay, so what happened is, which one will more use Spark is a framework. Okay, to use the framework, you need a language. Okay, so either you can use Python, either you can use Scala, or you can use R. So in order to use Spark, if you use Python, that is becomes PySpark. To use
Okay,
Spark, if you become Scala, that becomes Scala Spark, right? So Spark is not an independent. You just directly Spark will provide you API, Spark will provide you functions, but to use that function, you need a programming language. So Spark is not an independent entity. It has to come with some programming language. Getting my point? Spark is not a language, it's mostly a framework. We will use
okay,
Python version of Spark, which is PySpark.
okay. Got it. Got it.
It's not a wrong question, but mostly confused question. People are confused. People think that Spark is a language. Spark is not. Spark is a framework, basically.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's the Delta Lake? You mentioned Delta Lake in
Huh.
the
Okay.
uh,
Delta
post-content.
Lake is a part of it. Delta Lake is a part of Databricks. So what happened was, uh, you know, uh, in all this big data system, right, they do not have transactional facility, so you cannot revert your transaction to a previous version, right? Those facility was not there, but Delta Lake introduced that feature. The idea was, today when people are talking about data lake, data warehouse, lake house and all, right? So data warehouse has lot of capabilities in terms of transactional support, which the data lake doesn't provide, right? For example, are you familiar with RDBMS concept, something called ACID transaction, ACID?
Yes, yes,
Okay, so you know, right? I mean, there is a very common thing that the very atomicity, and when they explain isolation, they explain this part, right? That, for example, there are two accounts, account A and account B. 1,000 rupee has to be debited from account A and has to be credited to account B. For example, when 1,000 rupees is debited from account A, the transaction fails. So ideally, you should revert to your original state, right? Otherwise,
yes.
the entire transaction would be considered as a failure, right? What happens in a typical big data system, this inbuilt support was not there. Okay, you cannot revert to a principle, to a previous state. So people used to come up with workaround, right? With Delta Lake, Returning to a previous version of my data is possible. That's what Delta Lake is. We'll cover Delta Lake in detail. Hope you understood.
Okay, okay, got it. So are we going to record the sessions? If we miss something, can we
Yes,
get that video recorded?
every day the session would be recorded. The recording link would be provided to you. All the materials all the coding that we'll do, all the files would be provided to you. But one thing is the recording is pretty much under control of Visual Path. So if someday recording is not there, no, please reach out to that team. File is completely with me, and I will make sure that all the code files are available to you on every day, on a daily basis. But for the recording, as you can understand, that Visual Path is the organizer, so sometimes if there is a technical glitch, there might be some delay, but they will ensure that all your recordings are available on a daily basis.
Okay, okay.
Any other question?
How the market now on the Azure Data Engineering and how it will be in the future.
See, data, as I was explaining, right? I mean, what happen is I mean, you might be hearing a lot of stuff about data scientist, data AI engineer, AI ML, but end of the day, everybody needs data. Yeah. So data engineering is not going anywhere. Data engineering will store. What happen is, what I can see is, going forward, there will be more full stack kind of role may come up. So, may I know what is your background?
I'm working on middleware technology, close to 10 years experience.
Middleware technology, is it in TIPCO or something?
No, it's WebSphere.
WebSphere. Okay. So now, right, the earlier what used to do is people either working as a front end developer or working as a back end developer, right? Or as a middleware developer. Nowadays, it is very much expected that everything, right? You should code the front end, you should code the back end. If there is some middleware, I mean, you should know that. So that's what something called full stack developer is coming into picture, right? So going forward, what will happen is from a data engineer, it is expected that you should know some part of the AI also. You should expect some part of the ML also, so that they don't need to hire multiple peoples. But data engineering is not going anywhere. Data engineering would be there. There might be some changes in the technology. For example, Azure is trying with something called Fabric, right? So what Azure is doing, instead of giving multiple services, one for data factory, one for data lake storage, one for data bricks, one for data warehouse, why don't I provide a single component where everything is there? So those kinds of change will happen, but the core will remain the same, and the demand for a data engineer is not going anywhere. It will be there for sure.
No, his Fabric
How
will replace the I mean data engineer or is combined with the AI, the Microsoft Fabric.
No. Fabric is basically, these are multiple things. These are multiple softwares you have to, your multiple things that you have to use. You have to configure this one data lake. You have to configure on data factory. You have to configure on data breaks. What Microsoft is trying to do is, I am giving you one single utility where all these things are available. So instead of creating 5 different things, you just provision one particular resource, and everything is available to you. You will do the same job, but instead of going to 5 places, you will do it at one place. That's it.
so can we call Fabric as a tool?
Fabric is a resource basically. Here you are seeing, no, here whatever we are seeing, for example, let me go here. Let me check resources. All resources. Why it is showing only my resource?
And how much is the package can we expect for a data engineer?
Uh, how much is the package? It all depends upon your experience and the company. Nowadays, I mean, earlier service-based industry had the limitation, right? That they do not go beyond this years of experience into two. But now also they have, forget that barrier. That they are giving, if you are a good candidate, if they have a requirement, they are giving you, 3-4 times your years of experience. So, uh, you know, I mean, I know people having 4-5 years of experience in India are getting somewhere around 25 to 35 lakhs per annum,
Okay, okay,
right?
okay.
And people having 10 plus years of experience are getting around 50, 40 to 50, or moving to 60. And if you happen to land up a job in, let's say, PayPal, or let's say what is that what is that travel website here? Recently my friend has got one, Expedia, right? He got into Expedia, so his fixed is 40, 60, and they have on top of 60 lakh, they have given him this one, equities of 45 lakhs. So it is 1.05 crore CR that he has received.
In India,
In India, I'm talking about India.
how many years experience is having?
15, I believe, 14. My experience only, my same as me, 15.
No. Then in that case, I mean, the fabric will be having more opportunities in the future, or
Nah,
how?
nah, nah, nothing like that. See, fabric. See, today fabric is there. Tomorrow something else will come. So never go about these terms, right? Microsoft or any particular cloud vendor for that matter will not change the sphere altogether. What they will do, see, as I was telling, right, Fabric will combine all this component into a single place. End of the day, for writing your processing, you will need Spark. For orchestrating, you will need Data Factory. But in see, today the thing is that what I have to do, let's say I need an orchestration framework. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to come here. Okay, go here, and let's say I have to write Azure Data Factory. Okay, data, yeah, I have to come here. Okay, I have to create a data factory and then write the orchestration framework. Let's say I need a data bricks, so again I need to write a data bricks. Okay, I need to create a Databricks resource, create a Databricks service, and write my code there. Instead of that, what Azure is doing is just create one resource and do everything over there. That's what. End of the day, the work is going to be the same, but instead of creating multiple resources, Azure is telling you to create one resource. Clear? Hello?
Which coding language we need
We will be
to learn?
using mostly Python and Spark and SQL.
So if we
As
have
I
zero
said,
knowledge of Python, will you
hmm,
train on the basics?
I'll definitely. That's what I was telling. No, my first 5 to 6 classes would be Python and SQL. And if that again, it the class demand. So if one student also asks me that I need Python, then I will cover Python. I will take 2 3 classes on Python, 2 3 classes on SQL, so that you get a familiarity. I will give you homework, enough amount of homework so that you can practice. And then PySpark is not complete Python. It is only that part of Python which is needed for Spark. So once you have basic understanding of Python, you can do your coding in PySpark. So the fundamental, we will, the first few classes would be on Python and SQL. Then we'll move to Spark.
Yeah, one question: where we need to practice these things? Like, are we going to have any free version of practicing
Yeah,
or
that's
lab?
what. This is Databricks Community Edition. I will take in the first class, I will teach you how to create a free version of Databricks Community Edition.
Okay,
This is a
okay,
free version only. Okay.
okay. So how about Synapse? For Synapse also, like, are we going to have a free version or?
Synapse is not free, yeah. Synapse is a little costly. So what I would suggest is Azure provides a free trial for 30 days, right? So in that 30 days free trial only, create a Synapse and use it.
Okay, okay, okay,
Synapse is a little costly also. So if you are planning to create Synapse, use it judiciously. As and when your work is done, just stop the service or delete the service. Okay. But I will teach you how
okay.
to create a Synapse resource.
Uh, One question regarding the job roles and all, what are the changes in the data engineering job roles and market as a whole with the introduction of or with the rise of analytics engineering roles in the market recently?
The rise of analytics engineering. When we talk about analytics engineering, can you please little more elaborate? What exactly
uh,
analytics engineering?
using DBT and all that. After a data engineer creates the warehouse, the analytics engineer takes the
Uh,
data marts as the source and create one big table architecture for the
no, no. See,
analysis
as a data
purposes.
engineer, no, a data modeling is also part of a data engineer. So when you talk about data warehouse, as a junior data engineer, you are not supposed to create the data, you are not expected to create the data model, but as a senior data engineer you have to take care of the data modeling also. So the data warehouse, create the data model, create the mart or the warehouse is your responsibility. I don't see
No,
you will get a separate
no,
modeler to do that one. Okay.
no.
Most
I
of
have worked as an analytics engineer in my recent job,
Mhm.
where we take the all the tables that the data engineers create, and we bring together all the data and create one big table architecture. We follow the one big table architecture. We create one big massive table, one big white table, and we use that for all the analysis purpose using Tableau, and recently we're shifting to Looker as
So
well.
is it like you
So
create
yeah,
one single
yes,
denormalized table and
yes,
connect it
yes,
to your
yes,
report? Okay, fine.
yes.
I mean that's yeah,
That's
that it
what the
might
analytics
vary.
engineers do these days. That's what all the analytics engineer roles ask these days. And with the rise of DBT, a lot of jobs are coming up in the market, just asking for DBT and one cloud warehousing solution like BigQuery or Synapse Analytics with DBT. You are supposed to take the output from the data engineers and create this one big wide not denormalized tables, and then give it to the data analyst. If it's a very big organization, you have separate data analysts creating BI reports. You just need to create the one big denormalized table
Okay,
and maintain
so
that using DBT.
what so for example you are taking multiple tables and create a single denormalized table, which is fine. This is a specific requirement that you are talking about, right? But
But I
what
do
I
see a
have
lot
seen.
of companies following that architecture recently. I'm applying for those roles as well from past 6 months. I've seen a lot of
Okay.
companies following that architecture using DBT. So that's why I'm
Okay, no,
asking, with that introduction, is there something disrupting in the data engineering market?
no, why data engineering? Because end of the day you need the output that is produced by the data engineer, right?
Hmm.
So do you
Yeah,
really
but
see a
is
distinction
there
over there? Uh-huh.
what I'm asking is there some danger happening from that DBT in the space of, I know DBT can be used for data engineering as well. I do see a lot of mid and small companies using DBT for data engineering as well. I've seen, they're following exactly the Medallion architecture using DBT.
DBT, when you are saying DBT, what exactly it is?
It's a data build tool. It has the ability to push the core. It's basically version controlling the SQL scripts.
Let's just go through it. No, what exactly it is? A command line that enables data analysts and engineers to transform data in their warehouse more efficiently. It will production, including companies like Azure. DBT Modern BI block. DBT fits nicely into the Modern BI block, coupling with products like Redshift, Snowflake, BigQuery. So is it like no code tool? It does not extract or load data, but it's extremely good at transforming data that's already loaded into your data warehouse. Okay. Transform after load architecture. So DBT is mostly transform after load, right? Once you load the
Yeah.
data into the data warehouse, then the DBT comes into picture, right? What about these
Uh,
stages? What about the stages before that? Do you see DBT fitting into that?
uh, no, not really.
So
It can do simple things, but no, not at a massive scale.
again, is DBT distributed enough? Can it do parallel processing?
No, it's not good for huge data.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
No, that's definitely put a restriction, right? So
yeah,
thing
yeah.
is that these tools are enhancement addition, but I would say project yourself more as a full stack developer. Why you see you already have experience in the reporting part and analytics part. Now, if you capture the data engineering part, then a company instead of hiring two people, why don't it? I mean, That's what I'm saying. The future trend, what I'm seeing is people are expecting more of a full stack developer, people who know not only the data engineering part, but if they know the UI part, if they know the ML part, right? So that's what makes your profile more robust and more error, um, what do you call, error prone, or less prone to rejection, and this one, right? So I would
Yeah,
suggest try to expand your wings as much as possible.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm looking for this course.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Yeah. Any other question?
Will AI will involve in the data engineering in the future? How it gonna be?
See, nobody has seen this one, right? How AI will future, will there will be a codeless tool will come where I will see. I don't see that AI will replace coding. So far, what I understand, and if you have used Chat GPT or something for coding and all, we know that they are a lot of error prone, right? They do not provide the good code at the very first go. And I mean, how much good prompt you provide them. Okay, but see, nobody has seen the future. If tomorrow there is something called, you just give your instruction in 10 lines and it will create the ETL pipeline end to end. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't see that happening, at least now, right? AI, I mean, today the way it is, it needs lot of good data to have a robust model, right? And that's what the data engineer rolls into. So in my project, in my team, what we are doing is we are creating an LLM, something using Azure generative AI. And what we basically use is, there are a lot of marketing people, right? So they want new leads, okay, so that they can approach and try to bring new business. So what we do, we have existing data, right? And then there are a lot of third party vendors from which we can collect data related to various companies and their people information, right? So using all those information, we are trying to build a LLM model, which is further used by the AI engineer to prepare those kinds of stuff. So that for example, a marketing person will come, he just write that I want to connect this company, can you give me some lead, can you give me the company information. So using our data, the data that we produce, they can provide you the information, and then they provide you a basic ranking, what kind of lead it is. Now that it is up to the marketing person to take the decision whether you want to approach that lead or not. So what I am seeing is, mostly these are data driven products that will come up in future, but completely replacing the data engineering and all, well, I'm not sure. I don't think, I'm not seeing that happening, but I might be wrong also. When that's very futuristic to think at this point. Any other question? Mani, I'm not sure whether I was able to answer your question, but you understand that these questions are difficult to answer, right?
Yeah, fine, Smriti. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Any other question, guys? And
So
may I know
how,
what? Yes, please.
yeah, sorry. What are your suggestions regarding practice? Like what amount of time it uh, might take for us?
On a weekday, try to spend at least 1 to 2 hours. In the 1 to 2 hours, go through the classes that we have covered, go through the contents that we have covered, understand each and everything, okay? And then try to, so for example, if we cover a particular concept, we have taken few example. You also try to come up with your own example and try the same logic. If you are able to think of a new case, do that one. So for example, let's say we cover data frame joins, or let's say data frame aggregate operations. We cover few examples. Go to this one, Google, and see data frame aggregation, see what articles you are coming. Also type data frame aggregation question, real scenario based questions, type this one. If there is a problem statement, try to solve it, okay? Then see the answer if you are able to understand. If still you are not able to understand, raise this question in this class. So every concept that we are covering, make sure that next class when you are coming, you are good with the old the previous day concept. What the problem I have seen is, once mostly there are working professionals, right? So once people enroll into a course, they have this excuse that, okay, today I'm very tired, I already have my office, I had the class, I cannot do it, I will cover it up on weekdays. Now these things gets piled up, and weekends you will look for some relaxation. These things does not happen. So if you are enrolling the course, make sure that you are dedicating at least 1 to 2 hours on a weekday and at least 3 hours on a weekend. Okay, that is the ask from you.
Okay,
Hope
got it.
I answered your question. And may I know what are the timings you guys are looking for?
Uh, I mean, it's okay. Evening 8 to 9. Yeah. For other also, it should. I mean, it should be comfortable.
Let me ask one by one. Umar Sharif, what is the timing you are comfortable with? Umar, you are on mute. Pawan?
Oh, yeah, Subrat. I'm good with 8 or 9 p.m.
Okay. Any questions from what we have discussed so far?
No, I think I got answer for all my questions. What I wanted to be asked.
Okay.
Somebody already asked and I got the answer.
Sure. Cool. Cool. Kazim? Kazim, am I audible? Okay. Money?
Yeah, for me, it's 8 to 9 is fine. Super. Yeah.
Anything you wanted to ask from what we have covered? Any question you have? Any doubt?
Nothing. Super. I mean, will you also refer from your end also, right? Post the session. I mean, post the course.
Huh, definitely. If there is an opening in my company, definitely I will refer. Or if I get to know about any openings, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Shankar?
Uh, 7:30 would be an ideal time for me. Yeah,
7:30?
yeah,
8 o'clock? I mean, do you see 8 to 9? What about that?
yeah. I have to. Yeah, that's. I have to adjust few things, but
Mhm.
I think that's possible. That's fine.
Okay. And do you have any questions, any clarification that we want from what we have discussed so far?
I'm good so far.
Okay. Thank you. KR, there's the name written KR.
Subrat, I have one question.
Please. Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
Pawan.
since so I have experience in IT like around 5 years,
Hmm.
but I am new to the like this domain, data engineer.
Hmm. And may I know what experience you have in IT?
More
Hello?
effort for my.
Sorry, Pawan.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you please repeat?
Yeah, so I am new to this domain. I am working in IT into different domain.
No, what is that? What domain? What technology?
I am working into network support engineer.
Yeah, sure. So that should not be a problem. That should not be a problem. You can switch into data, because I myself was, I told you, right? I was as a .NET developer, I switched into data, right? So there are people who work as system admin and they switched into data. So even recently, in my previous batch, there was some person who was working into this healthcare and they also switched into data. So, and she was mostly in US, but yeah, so that's possible. Only thing, as I told you, right, you have to spend at least 1 to 2 hours on a weekday and at least 3 hours on a weekend. You have to give that time, and you have to
Yeah, sure.
understand each and everything that we cover. Any doubt you have to raise. No doubt is a stupid doubt. No question is a stupid question. You can ask anything that you want.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, Kumar.
Yes, Shubhat. So yeah, I'm good. I'm okay with 8 to 9, but yeah, as someone said, like 7:30 would be my best timing. So I
Hmm.
can join. Yeah.
Okay, let's the for the timing, let's focus on 8 to 9 because that would be better for me also. I have certain meetings and all. I'll be able to wind up by 8, so that would be an ideal time for me also. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And any questions you have? Any questions on you have on what we discussed? Any doubt? Any clarification you want?
No, not at the moment, Shubhat. I'm good.
Okay. Okay.
Will you also provide job support? I mean, in case if
See,
you require.
money job support is the typical job support where you have tie up with companies and you can refer them. That feature is not there with me, right? I am also a working professional, and the best I could do is if I come across any job in my company, I can refer you there definitely, or any job, any for your position. If I came up with any particular site where I can refer, I can do that one. But an institute level job support, for that you have to see what arrangements Visual Path team has, right? At an
No,
individual level, I can. Huh?
initially, if we stuck somewhere in the real time, I mean, in that
That
case, how?
that is fine. That no, that is anyways. You can. I will provide my number. You can reach out to me at any time
Yeah,
for that. So if you
yeah, for
need
that
any
one.
technical assistance or any interview level preparation assistance, for that I'm there.
No, no, I
I
mean,
will share
once we
my number.
enter to the, I mean, in this
Oh, that
level, I mean,
also. Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
that's
That also I can help you.
what I'm,
That also
yeah,
I will
that's
help
what,
you.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's also I will help you. Yeah, I was Kumar Sharath.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my ideal time will be the sooner the we start, it is better. But let's see what options. Usually, like 7 to 8, or maybe 7:30 or 8:30 is something that is good. But still, that's not possible. Maybe 8 to 9 is also fine with it.
Okay. Okay.
But my
And
preference, and then my next question is, like
mm-hmm.
you said, like you moved from like .NET background to data engineering, right, sir?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what
Correct.
is your experience in terms of like moving to data engineering, in terms of like for me is, I mean, why I'm just curious is like I come from the .NET background too. Like I right
Mm-hmm.
now, I mean, I'm not having any job. I'm like, but I plan to take this course, and I would like to shift to career on the data engineering. So like on the .NET side, on the front end, like I won't be enjoying any more on this Angular or front-end stack with C Sharp, right? So like I'm more interested on data engineering with AI, ML later on. So like I want to like change my career. So like how is how hard or how challenge is this, and how should I prepare it? So something, if you can share it, like your experience, that I would love to hear it.
Sharath, thing is that your programming skill will definitely come handy, right? That part is there. But in data, you will not involved in. So you might. So what is that you enjoy? You enjoy the UI side or you enjoy the backend side?
Yeah, these days I enjoy back inside.
And then you will find it comfortable. For me, I'd never enjoy UI part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was comfortable with the backend stuff. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I moved into data engineering. Okay, for me, debugging the UI on a Chrome browser and all, I mean, I never enjoyed that part. I mean, I had to do as a part of the job, but I was more comfortable with processing data and lighting the logic and all that. So I find data engineering very interesting. So
Okay.
if you also come from the same background, definitely will enjoy that.
And what about the lot of services in as a like .NET cloud engineer? I use a lot of services on the like cloud, like
See,
especially
Azure is not only to for data engineering, right? Azure has to provide services for every aspect.
right.
Be it your security, be it your networking, be it your application development, be it for artificial intelligence, be it machine learning. So Azure has a plethora of services for each and everything.
Hmm.
Otherwise, how they will compete in the market?
Okay. Okay. So, but the
Okay.
transition from like .NET won't be that much hard if I like put my effort,
No.
right, sir?
Yes, definitely it will not be that hard. And of course you will enjoy because you might have written ADO.NET, link you and all, right? So you'll find a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
similarities when we write
yeah.
the
Okay,
program.
okay. Where will that those kind of like will be used on data engineering, sir?
In
This
Spark
area.
data frame.
Oh, oh, Spark. Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay. That's nice to hear. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Emre or Emre Dost. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
hi.
I'm not sure if I'm taking your
No,
name
no,
correct.
Emre is Emre, and
Emre.
the dost in your language also the same is the friend or
Okay.
like best
Oh,
friend. So like, yeah,
cool,
I'm
cool.
from Turkey. Yeah,
Okay.
actually, this I missed the like the beginning part because like I was in a other batch. So I
Mm-hmm.
have actually the other batches going on until the end of August, like from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So I would be able to like attend to this one if the timing is like suitable because since I cannot do the parallel batching.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
like if you have it like from the 8 p.m. to sorry 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So I can like I was looking actually for this course to join so and they let me know so that so it's all about the timing first. And you had some, like, if I missed something, so you had some prerequisites for the course, like Python,
No.
SQL, nothing.
If you know, that is good, but we will cover the basics in our initial classes. And if
Uh-huh.
you do not know, the ask is you have to dedicate some time on a daily basis to learn things.
No, no,
Okay, that
it's
is a commitment that
I
is expected from you.
no, I am like okay familiar, like quite familiar, especially with the Python and
That's great. That's great. Then you
SQL.
will
SQL maybe I haven't done. Like I have done like little bits. Like I am aware, but like of course I know but just I haven't practiced like for a while so since I'm not
no
using it
issues. No issues. If
yeah
you are expertise in Python, you will enjoy Spark programming, PySpark programming.
okay okay so you covering actually like I was just looking in here your this course content so you will cover the data bricks like
Mhm.
and the data engineering side from the Azure right
Yes. Databricks also
yeah
will cover the Azure Databricks, right? Because Databricks, as I told you,
hmm
right, it is there with Azure, AWS, everything. So ours is mostly Azure Databricks. But Azure Databricks, same as AWS, is same as this GCP. So yeah.
Mm, yeah. So does it like I've been working with this Azure like administration and I've been actually preparing for the exam recently. So like does it help anything like if
Azure administration is different than the
no no
data engineering. Sorry,
no no I've been just like preparing for the examination like recently.
which one?
So does it for the Azure administration administrator the AZ-104 like
Acha.
exam. Yeah, but does it help useful in this course? Like,
No, no. Azure administration is something different, where
mhm,
you will be mostly talking about different platforms, right? Not,
mm,
the networking or the system, data administration and all that. Here we are
mm,
talking about data engineering side. So these are little,
mm,
you might find similarity when it comes to the security part or when it
mhm,
comes to the infrastructure part, but when it comes to this storage, orchestration, data bricks, they are completely different from. I mean, I
mhm.
don't think these things are available in administration.
Okay. So
But
when you
security and
plan,
all will remain the same. Yeah, sorry.
one more question, like when you planning to start the batch and uh,
I think it will the visual path team. So they will collect information from all the students, and then
mhm.
they will let everyone know when to start the batch.
Yeah, I could really join this batch. So if you just the timing, like especially the 7 p.m. would be like perfect timing, but all this all just depend on you and the visual part, I think.
Okay,
So
okay.
if you can
We
just
will.
let them know so that they know the
Sure.
situation.
See, they will reach out to you. So after this demo, no, they will reach out to you, understand your preference, and they will reach out to everybody else. They will then coordinate and give us the time and start date.
Yeah, but I was in like three demo like for the Azure Data Engineering, and they said
Mm-hmm.
that they will let us know, and they haven't changed the timing. So like that is
Acha.
the difficulty. So if I am attempting the only demonstration, but
So is it like
since the
8 to 9 is not at all possible for you?
no, because I am having another batch, like so I am actually taking from the visual part this Azure DevSecOps part. So it's
Acha.
ending like in the end of August. So like there is like 1 month to go still. So
Acha.
like I
Okay,
am
okay. So
almost
you have to
there.
go
So
to.
end of it, I cannot just like take it back. So that's the thing. But if
Acha.
not, then
Okay,
maybe
understood.
after the when it's finished. So what can I do?
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
All
Let's
right.
figure it out. Let's figure it out.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Sure, sure.
Sir,
Any other
sir,
question?
what quick question? So, what about the like on data engineering? Do we have to have the knowledge about this Azure DevOps, like build and release pipeline, something? Is do
Uh,
we need? Or
See, that's what I was telling, no, people are expecting a lot into full stack. So it is good to have if you know DevOps, but I mean, they not expect you to completely prepare the pipeline end to DevOps pipeline end to end, but at least to release your data in a development environment and, to configure the release pipeline, configuring the Git, configuring the source code system and all that. If you know that, that's a good thing. That's a good to have knowledge, so that will give a boost to your profile. There will be separate dedicated team for DevOps, but if you know the stuff, it is good for you.
and then applying on some of the jobs, what I see is like those old Azure Data Factory. A lot of this they use like automation tool infrastructure as a code, right? Even on the data engineering, they are asking like Terraform because they need to like automate using Terraform with all those Azure services like Azure Data Factory, right? So we need to have some knowledge on those infrastructure as a code too. Then,
See, not exactly, sir. See, what happened is there are multiple requirements. Like somebody using Terraform, somebody is using something else. So, I mean, you cannot expect someone to know everything, right?
right,
The
right.
idea is if somebody is strong in fundamental, they can learn things and adapt to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not possible to cover each and everything that is available in the market. So the idea is whatever is core, right? Cover that one. And then based upon the job, you learn the technology, learn the skill on job.
Yeah, that one I got it. I'm just curious, sir. Like, let's say you are working professional in your company. Like, how
Hmm.
do you work on those services, Azure services? Like, you use those infrastructure as a code for any kind of Azure Data Factory, any services, or you just work like with a console app or maybe on the portal with
No, we
Azure? How
use
does?
we use when I'm talking about data factory, we provision our data factory the way I will show you in this course, and we
Mm,
write our pipeline for it, right?
okay. Mhm.
Coming to CI/CD DevOps for the for the development environment, yes, we do it. We prepare the pipeline, and then the DevOps engineer take it from there to control and administer this one. Right? That's what
Okay.
the engagement looks like. Okay.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you. Durga, any question
Uh,
you
hi,
have,
uh,
or what about the
Hi,
interference?
Subrat. Yeah, I'm from
Mhm.
EST time zone, so I think I'm not good with the 8 to 9 p.m. I mean 8 to 9 timings. I
Mhm.
so 8 to 9 p.m. In IST is equal to 10:30 in the morning, right? So I'm a
Mhm.
working
Mhm.
professional, so yeah, it won't be possible for me. Like, you run any other batch, Subrat?
At present, this is the only batch that I will be having. So yeah,
Okay.
mostly you can reach
Yeah,
out to the
I'm happy
visual
with
path.
your demo. Yeah, I'm happy with your demo. I really like wanted to join the class, but yeah, the timing is a constraint.
Okay, I
So
understand, but
yeah,
morning I cannot take any batch. So you are looking for something during your night time, which is IST morning.
yeah, yeah.
At present, personally, that is I have some personal constraint. I cannot
Okay.
do it. But again, I mean, if there are people available and if Visual Path agrees to start a batch from morning 8:30 to 9:30, I'm okay. We can do that one.
So morning 8:30 to 9:30 IST. So what is going to be the EST?
So 8:30, 7:30 a.m. your, right? So 8:30 IST would be what, 7:30 p.m. your time?
Uh, uh,
But I would advise that you reach out to the visual path team. And again, when I'm saying morning batch, if I mean, I can take at this point, I can take only one batch, right? So if everybody have agrees for an 8:30 to 9:30 morning, then it is fine, or 8 to 9 in the evening, or 7 to 8 in the evening, right? So I'm fine with that. We'll do accordingly. But I cannot take more than
okay.
one batch at this point because of some personal reason.
Yeah, yeah. I'll reach out to Visual Path team
Yeah,
then. Yeah,
sure, sure, sure.
yeah. So
Okay.
now one more question.
Mhm,
After
mhm,
this
mhm.
training, so okay, like how many years can we keep it in our resume? Like after this training,
If
like
you see, it all depends. Let's say you yourself is a 5 years experience guy. So what I would tell you is you keep 2 years as your as an experience. Okay, 1 to 2 years as a
okay,
data engineering experience. If you are coming as an 11, 10, 11 years experience guy, so you keep at least 4 years into data engineering. Right?
okay,
That's
okay,
how the proportion should
okay,
work.
okay, okay. Thank you, Subhash.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Any other question anybody has? Okay. If not, then thank you everyone and have a good day.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.